Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on how to configure Cisco Jabber with Cisco IM and Presence. And what we're going to do is pick up where we left off. If you saw the last video and have been following along, you got Unity connection and IM and Presence integrated, and now we're going to be creating some users and some service profiles to then build the Cisco client service framework to associate with the end users and get Jabber up and running. So, and one piece of housekeeping is in the previous video when we went into Unity, we changed some of the user credentials and default templates for the voicemail, and we'll actually do the same thing for the web application since Unity connection web interface is what Jabber uses. So we'll get logged in here and open another tab and bring up Unity connection. Alright, and so in this case what we'll do is go down to the authentication rules, and this time we're going to choose the recommended web application rule, and similar to before we're just going to uncheck for trivial, change some of these values. Say never expires, save that, and then likewise on the user template, go to voicemail user template. We're going to go here and edit the password settings, but last time we changed it on voicemail. This time we're going to go to web application and uncheck the user must sign in at next sign in, save that. And then also change the password. So we switch this to web application and we can give it the same 123, 123. And in hindsight, we probably should have done that before importing the users because they already received the template. But what we can do is, so go over to users. And when we click on the actual individual user, what we can do is manually change the password. So if we go edit user password settings, it should inherit. Let's see, go to web application here. Yeah, so it inherited what it had previously. So we'll just make the changes here, and then likewise change the password. So 123, 123. So again, edit password settings, change the web application, uncheck user must sign in, and then we'll change the password to 123 for the web application. And I'll pause this real quick and do this for the rest. Okay, so I've updated all of those and we are done with Unity connection for now. And hopefully this is zoomed in now. One of the viewers said that they were having a hard time seeing what I was doing in the last video, so I'm planning on doing some post-editing zooming action going on, so hopefully you're able to see that. And if not, let me know. But so the first thing then we're going to do is create our UC services. So if we go over to user settings and UC services, we hit find and see that there aren't any defined here. So we'll hit add new. And then these are the list of services we can add. So we'll start with voicemail. And this is Unity connection, and just give a name voicemail. Obviously you can do more than voicemail with Unity connection, but for this lab that's all we're really using it for. So then for the IP, that's the 192.168.202.213, and we're using HTTPS. We'll go ahead and save that. Now we'll go and click on add new and do the next one down. Let's see, we're not doing mail store conferencing. So directory, this will be our LDAP. So we can give it the LDAP name, and that is at 192.168.202.254. Save that, add new. We've got our IM in presence, so we'll call this CIMP, and this is at 192.168.202.214. Save that. And the last but not least, we have our CTI managers, which will be our publisher and subscriber for call manager or communications manager. So we can just call this one pub, and IP address is 192.168.202.211. Save, and add one more, which is our subscriber, 192.168.202.212. Save. Alright, so now if we go back to find view list, we can see we've got all of our services defined, and now we'll create a profile to tie these all together. So under service profile, click find. There isn't one currently, so we're going to add a new one. We'll call this Jabber IMP, and I'll check this, make this the system default. And so now we'll just choose our voicemail profile we set up, and we didn't do mail store or conferencing. And for our directory, we'll say LDAP, and then we'll use our LDAP credentials. Oops. Where'd my cursor go? And then for the search base, it was the organizational unit of VoIP with the domain controller of freelab.local. And IM in presence, we got our CIMP. And then primary, we'll say pub and sub. Save, only because that's what we've been doing through this whole thing. I mean, you can delegate what you want the publisher and subscriber to be, but we should be good to go here. And now let's create the actual endpoints for the users. So we'll go to our phone, and previously we had the IP communicator as well as some hard phones, and so now what we're going to do is add a new line, but this time we're going to be using the Cisco Unified Client Services Framework. And we can give this whatever name we want. So this one I'm just going to say YouTube A. And again, all the devices with a star in it are required. So we'll just make sure those are selected and then or have a value at minimum. And then for the user ID, YouTube A. Then we have to set the SIP security profile as well as a SIP profile. So we'll say standard, non-secure, and SIP standard for the profile. And leave the rest defaults. Choose save. And then for the DN, we're going to give it the same extension, which was 2001. And we can just scroll down, make sure still have our voicemail checked. Give it a name if we want. Change the busy trigger to 1. And we'll want to associate the end users like we did before. So we'll say YouTube user A is associated with this. And we'll save this. Alright, looks good. Now we'll do the same thing for user B. So we go back to our phone list, add new, Cisco Client Services Framework, YouTube B, oops, so profile, Save that. So now I'll uncheck that in error. Alright, and then we'll give it the extension 2002. And actually this one, we don't want it call forwarding all, so I'm going to uncheck this. We just want it for the busies. And say YouTube user B. Busy trigger to 1, and we'll associate the end user 2002. Alright, looks good. We'll save that. And then I'll pause the video and do the same thing for the other users. Okay, so now that I have all the endpoints, the client frameworks created, now we're going to edit the users to associate the service profile and these end devices, and then we also have to give a few more permissions. So if we go to our end user, start with YouTube user A. If we go down here, you can see we have this home cluster and enable user for unified CM, IM, and presence. So I want to go ahead and enable that. And then if we go down, we see the controlled devices. We want to go to device association and add the client framework that for YouTube user A. So we'll say save selected changes. Go back. Save this. So now then we go down and under permissions, hit find here. A few we might want to give is the standard end users so that they can use the web portal, and then standard CTI enabled and allow control of all devices. So we'll add those and save. And then we'll go back and do the same for YouTube for each user. So YouTube user B, we're going to enable the presence, and then go to device association, add the client framework, got that in there, and then we'll add the permissions. Standard end users and control devices, and save. And I'll pause the video and finish this for the other users. Okay, so I went ahead and added the rest of the users, and now we can go back to our IM and presence administration and run the troubleshooter just to make sure we've cleared up all the errors that we had last time. Alright, so diagnostic system troubleshooter. And let's see, so far so good. We're not using the RCC. Not using directory service connection. I'll bet so. In the previous video, when we turn these on, let's see. Let's go to IM present serviceability. I may have unchecked the wrong one. Initially, we selected them all, and then I unchecked the federations. But I think I may have. Let's see what I do. Yeah, so it looks like I unchecked the connection manager. I actually didn't need the file transfer manager. These are the three here that I usually don't do. So let me save that. So we'll start the XCP connection manager. Alright, so that's been activated, and so now we can go back to our IM and presence administration and run the troubleshooter again just to double check. Alright, so now it looks like this time everything looks good, so we should be good for that. So now, since we're on PCA, YouTube A's remote desktop session, and we were doing the testing last time using IP communicator, we'll go ahead and open up Cisco Jabber, the Windows client. And then we're going to choose the advanced settings, choose the Cisco IM&P presence, say use the following server, and this is 192.168.202.204 or 214. Hit save, and then the user ID that we created were the YouTube A at CUCM IMP1 at or dot freelab dot local. Put in the password, sign in, alright, and we'll give it a second here. Alright, for the voicemail we got to put in our account settings, so YouTube A, and this is where we set that 123. Alright, so you can see here we've got our voicemail notification that we have a voicemail, just like an IP communicator. If we play it, it's marked it red. Now the message waiting indicator is turned off on both of these phones. And then we can go over to this other remote desktop. This one can be YouTube user B. Or, oh, I hit IP communicator. I want Jabber. So here we're going to do the same settings. I am in presence and put in the IP address 192.168.202.214, and then this one is YouTube B at CUCMIMP1.freelab.local. Put in the password. Alright, and let me see if I can get both of these on the screen. Alright, so let's see, if we go, let's add a contact. So YouTube B at CUCMIMP1.freelab.local. Put this in our peeps directory. So we got user A there, and we'll do the same over here, but we'll add YouTube A at CUCMIMP1.freelab.local. Alright, so now, so if we hit chat, and you can see over here it popped up saying what up. And then you can see the IMs taking place back and forth. So that's just with the regular messaging. Now, one of the things that you can do is this little icon down here. You can choose if you want to use the Jabber as your endpoint to make calls or use it to control a device. So for example, if I were to use my desk phone for calls, this is linked with this IP communicator. So if I dial, for example, extension 2002, which is YouTube user B, you can see that it's ringing, both the phone and the Jabber client. But notice it's using this phone. and it forwarded to voicemail. So, and actually for this example, let me do this. We'll go to our let's see, phone, and that was the 7985 we just called. If we go over to the line, we can actually set it to auto answer. So we'll say auto answer on headset, just so there's no extra reverb. Alright, so now if I call, now the hard phone is automatically answered. It shows that you're on a call. This shows the presence that it's being on a call here. And we'll hang that up. Now what we can do is if we switch it to, I'm going to use my computer for calls. This doesn't have a webcam, but that phone does have a camera on it. So if I call again using the Jabber client and it auto answers, it's unregistered right now. Looks like hang on one sec, let me actually turn the camera on. Okay, so I just turned on the camera so you should be able to see the phones, and I'm just going to exit out of here for a moment to see if the phone will auto answer. So there it goes. So now you can see I don't have a webcam on this remote desktop session I have up here, but you can see that UTB shows offline from IM, but on a call, because we got that 7985. So here you can see the, obviously the presence and video. So let me end that and open up Jabber again. And actually, what I should have done is I should have done it with the Cisco CS. Let me so let's dial. I'll have to grab the phone here, but let's see, 2004. So this one we can answer and move it around. So let's see if so here you can see Cisco CS. It's kind of like a portable dealio. Those are always cool. So then now you can hang that up. So there you have pretty much the basics of the integration of Call Manager 11.5 with IM and Presence, and we were able to get the users associated, see the IM status, send instant messages back and forth, make video calls, control endpoints with our calls, view voicemails, add contacts. So that should get you started, and I hope this has been informative for you, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.